16 years, John Havlicek has laced up sneakers and gone to work for the Boston Celtics. He estimates that he has logged 11,000 miles during his fabulous career. You've just seen him lace up those sneakers for the last time. John Havlicek will retire from the Celtics today, and number 17 will be raised high atop the ceiling here at the Boston Garden to join those other legendary numbers. So it is April 9th, 1978. Dave Cowens has just been introduced. Sidney Wicks and Don Chaney are out there, and now it's Dave Bank. And now the legend will be introduced for the last time.
6'5" number 17, John Havlicek.
And so, for the last time, the Boston Garden ovation cascades down upon the head of one of the greatest heroes in American sport, John Hondo Havlicek. His last day as a professional, as the Celtics and the Buffalo Braves close out the NBA season. Sat Sanders, now the Celtic coach for so long, was a teammate of Havlicek's. Those great teams with Bill Russell, Tommy Heinsohn, Satch Sanders, Jim Luskatoff, Bob Cousy, Bill Sharman. The legend began, and then it continued into the Dave Cowens era. His lovely wife, Beth Havlicek. Dave Bing alongside some of the other Celtic teammates. It's just possible that we'll not be able to play the game this afternoon the way they're going here in the Boston Garden. But why not? How often does an institution retire? So it continues here in Boston. The final tribute to John Havlicek as an active player. His wife, his mother, father, mother-in-law, and now Havlicek comes out to go to work for the last time. I'm Brent Musburger, along with Keith Erickson, and it is indeed a pleasure for us to be dealing with an athlete such as John Havlicek. We've enjoyed so many of his performances before, and now we've got time for his last one as Boston and Buffalo meet at the center circle. Keith Erickson, what's going through your mind along about now?
Well, Brent, this is a tremendously emotional day here, needless to say, and I'm just as caught up in it as much as everybody. John Havlicek has been a tremendous asset to the game of basketball, but not only that, he's a fantastic human being, and of all the true sports idols, when you talk about your kids looking up to somebody, John Havlicek is the man that I'd like my kids to grow up and be like.
So a tribute to John Havlicek is underway. Avert with control for Cotton Fitzsimmons' Buffalo Braves, and the ball went out of bounds, Eddie Rush. We also have an important game in the Eastern Conference today, Washington and Philadelphia, and we will be cutting down there to keep you up to date. Randy Smith hitting the first field goal, coming back from a pulled muscle, and it is 2-0, and we can expect an ovation every time that John Havlicek handles the basketball here in the Boston Garden. Cowens waits out high, and Hondo missed his first shot. Nader's outlet is to Smith. Even though Buffalo has not enjoyed a fine season, Smith has still played well, and so too has that gentleman, Swin Nader, the big center, Keith.
Swin Nader's having a tremendous year, Brent. Cotton Fitzsimmons said he's one of the finest young men he's ever coached.
Sidney Wicks, number 12 of the Celts. Here's Don Chaney, 42. Bing had the ball partially blocked, and he was also fouled if he tried to squeeze the trigger. And that's Bert Avert, number 15, who was over there on him.
Here's Chaney over to Bing, and there's the foul by Bert Avert, hitting Dave Bing on the hand as he went up for the shot.
just underway in the Boston Garden. It is 4-2. The men in blue from Buffalo leading the Celtics. Halftime, of course, an update on the Masters. And then at the end of a tribute to John Havlicek, we'll go to Augusta for that final round. Marvin Barnes underneath, dueling away. Missed his second shot, and Wicks is off to Hondo.
Nice hand for Dave Cowens on that shot, Brent, but they'd sure like to see John putting that ball in the hole rather than passing it off.
Nader out high, put it down against Dave, and on the running hook wouldn't stay in. Out now to Havlicek. Off his foot. It'll go to Buffalo. Score tied at 4. Seattle and Golden State in a key game in the Western Conference. That's a night game. And next Friday night, CBS's coverage of the playoffs begins. Nader had it slapped away by Cheney. Bing in control. Havlicek on the move, the other end to Cheney. An assist for Hondo.
I'm sure, Brent, that John has got an awful lot of emotion in this game, and it's a good, I think, for him to be passing the ball at this point. Nice pass to Don Cheney underneath. Let him get accustomed to what's going on out here. His last day. He's going to score some points.
Celts go up by those 3 points with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter from the Boston Garden. So many of John's old pals are here in the audience. We'll point them out. You saw some of them at the opening. Smith. Now, because of Randy Smith's injured thigh, we don't know how much he'll be picking up Havlicek. He does here in this sequence. Cheney wanted to give it off to Bing, who was cutting. Some interesting things about Havlicek, Keith. Why, for example, has he been able to stay in such marvelous shape through the years?
Well, as John was saying himself, I think it's really a tribute to him that he said that the key, as far as he's concerned, is his own self-discipline.
Wicks rolled up the hook, and he'll come to the line.
John knows that there are plenty of distractions going on the replay here. Havlicek throwing the ball into Wicks. Nice little spin move by Sidney. Left-handed hook. Pretty shot.
The three-pointer goes down. 2 assists for the captain. It's 10-6. The Celtics leading the Braves. 9:20 to go in the first. Nader looks for a receiver. He likes to put it down, doesn't he? We've seen him go right and we've seen him go left. And Cotton Fitzsimmons acknowledges that play. Intercepted by the big Dutchman. Havlicek almost got it back, and here's Smith. Bill Willoughby. Marvin Barnes hustles it at the Buffalo end. Havlicek knocks it away and out of bounds. The Braves will retain possession.
Brent, the question you asked me about John and how he's been able to sustain it for so long, there are an awful lot of doctors that would like to know that. An awful lot of basketball players would like to know it also. He has been blessed with a tremendous body. He just does not run down.
Ball goes to the Celtics and Satch Sanders, former teammate and now Havlicek's coach. Maybe you're wondering, will John Havlicek ever coach? And he says no, he will not. He's going to go into business and some other pursuits. We'll be talking about that as this day unfolds. Tribute to John Havlicek as 16 years comes to an end. Played more regular season games than anyone in history. Knocked back to Cowens. There's 3 assists. Havlicek to Wicks. Timeout, Buffalo. Back in the Boston Garden, Bill Willoughby has just scored on an alley-oop pass for Buffalo against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics leading at 12-10. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Steal by Smith. Randy with that quickness will be slowed down and may go to that perimeter shot. Full muscle, back of his right leg. He was the most valuable player in the All-Star game in Atlanta. Cheney on the run, taken down by Nader. Havlicek picks up Smith. Avert maneuvering. Shot clock inside of 10, and the bird comes up. Rolled out. Cheney applies offensive pressure for Sanders. Cowens with the running hook.
Randy Smith really slow coming down the court, Brent. His leg is really bothering him. The amazing thing, as much as it certainly hasn't hurt his jump shot.
Willoughby, the young man who played high school basketball in New Jersey and then jumped right into the NBA with the Atlanta Hawks. Now here he is with Buffalo. Braves, like all teams, plagued by injuries this year. Billy Knight out. Cheney shot blocked by Willoughby, but right to Sidney Wicks. Havlicek maneuvers, wanted the pass. Wicks was there to save it. Cowens, right baseline, is short. Off to Avert, and Randy Smith just cannot move over there, Keith, as you pointed out.
No, he's really having a tough time. I don't see really too much point in playing him a whole lot in this game.
Barnes turns inside. Bing waited patiently, drew the man beyond him. Cotton Fitzsimmons, the Buffalo coach.
This is a very rare thing to see, Brent. Randy Smith just walking the ball down the court.
Smith runs it down quickly after John slapped at it. Havlicek came to the arena today dressed in a tuxedo. At the buzzer, Smith's shot is off, and it goes back to Avert at the midcourt line. A fresh 24 as it came off of that rim. Here's young Willoughby. Away from Cheney and out of bounds. He just could not hold on to the ball as it eluded him. Down now by Wicks. Here's Cheney. And he overlet Havlicek out of bounds. So with 5 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Celtics lead the Braves 16-14. Smith drops it off now to Nader. Swin looking for a receiver, and the Braves not moving well on offense. Knocked away by Wicks, and he came up over the shoulder of Marvin Barnes and drew the foul. Wicks picked up a technical last night in the Boston Garden when the Celtics lost to Milwaukee. Milwaukee now must sit and wait and see what happens tonight. If Seattle wins, Avert on the drive, and he was fouled as he came down the hole on the move. Bing was there to cut him off. But again, the Seattle Golden State works this way. If Seattle wins the game tonight, then Milwaukee will go to the playoffs in the Western Conference. But if Golden State should beat the Supersonics 2 in a row because they won last night's game, then Rick Barry and the Warriors are going into the playoffs. And immediately after this tribute to John Havlicek, his last day as a professional, we'll be going down to the most prestigious of all golf tournaments, the Masters. Can Hubie Green hold on? He is so determined to win that green jacket today. Cowens outside, off. Havlicek still to put down his first field goal. Cowens. 18-15, Celtics 4:22 to go in the first quarter here in the Garden. Nader up against 3 white jerseys. Four minutes to go now in the first quarter. It's 18-15. Celtics leading the Braves by 3 points. I'm Brent Musburger with Keith Erickson, and it is indeed a pleasure to be working John Havlicek's last game. Barnes maneuvers in a little jump hook.
Good looking move inside, Brent, by Marvin Barnes. Strong young ball player.
Nader has switched out on Havlicek, and Cheney at the perimeter. Nader wants it from Avert. Maneuvers to the left. He wants the baseline, and Bing was attempting to cut him off and got a little bit too close to the bird. Larry McNeil, number 43, will replace young Bill Willoughby, who goes over to Cotton Fitzsimmons' bench. And that figures out to about 11,000 miles. Havlicek once estimated 7 miles a game, 800 hours of basketball. McNeil hits his first shot. It's a 1-point lead by the Celts. Halftime tribute to John Havlicek. We'll be covering that live. Update on the Masters. Barnes with a good defensive jump in front of Wicks. Smith outside. Taken out by Cowens. He's got Bing. Avert is back. Will not be an easy break. We've got a timeout in the Boston Garden. So we've got that big automobile race on the Sports Spectacular, and then don't forget next Friday night on CBS, the NBA playoffs begin. We'll have coverage beginning at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now that's Friday night, and then the Sports Spectacular with the Texas 200 Saturday, and then an NBA doubleheader a week from today as the second season gets underway. 2019 Celtics lead Buffalo here with 2:32 to go in the first quarter. And the very popular Ernie DiGregorio now working in the backcourt. Avert goes with him, and Cowens hooks it off the glass. So relaxed Dave Cowens with 8 points in the first quarter so far has pushed the Celts into this 22-19 lead. McNeil, 2 for 2.
Larry McNeil's looking good out there, Brent. Very surprising. You know, he comes in and he puts the ball up right away. He's gone 2 for 2. I'm very surprised that he's been dropped by a couple of teams. He really looks like he's got good talent.
Havlicek was met by Marvin Barnes. No respect for a legend that time, Marvin. And also, he may have just hurt that hand a little bit. You could see John rubbing it as he headed down court. Can Hubie Green hold on? What a round he played yesterday. Wasn't that magnificent? Nader up. That 65 was one off the course record for Green. You'll see all the coverage on CBS. But right now, it's a tribute to John Havlicek as Boston winds up its season, and so too does Buffalo. Avert knocked it away from Ernie D, and Cowens was right there. Going to be coming the other way. It'll go to Buffalo on the side. The foul is against Kermit Washington, who checked in. And here is their top draft choice, Cornbread Maxwell. Wicks goes out for a break.
Sorry, Brent. Kermit Washington and Marvin Barnes having a couple of words here. Kermit pushed him in the back on that play after Marvin, I think, elbowed Kermit in the jaw.
Kermit trying to cut him off right now, and Marvin trying desperately to push him away. McNeil comes over. Maxwell is there. And Maxwell tightened up and drew the foul, much to his chagrin. And there's JoJo White, Kevin Stakem, Curtis Rowe, 3 injured teammates. John Havlicek. In the penalty. Buffalo up by 2. From time to time, we'll be detailing John Havlicek's statistical career up there on your screen. Just unbelievable, isn't it? Here's Washington, number 26, picked up from Los Angeles. Havlicek. There's his first one. Avert with Ernie D sticking a hand up there in his face. Washington, a muscular rebounder. Ernie D hits Cowens, who's all alone. Nader must respect him more out there, Keith.
Sven Nader must go out with Dave Cowens, and the crowd reacting here to the pass by Ernie DiGregorio. He is really popular here in Boston. He can get this team running out here.
Drafted originally by Buffalo, went to Los Angeles. He was not comfortable there with Jerry West. Nader, but the buzzer went off because the shot did not hit the rim. They did not get a fresh 24, and then the quarter came to an end. So there was no time left, and at the end of the first quarter, it is 26-25. Havlicek and the Celts up by 1.
No.
John Havlicek's first quarter in the Boston Garden, 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. So in effect, he accounted for 14 points. And I've just received word that in Denver's game against Detroit, David Thompson exploded for 32 points in the first quarter. That's an NBA record. So David Thompson is preparing his own tribute as we close out the fabulous career of John Havlicek. Cowens looks in, and Nader a little more aggressively came out to meet him that time. Smith is with Hondo, and here's Ernie D. Comes around a Cowens pick, just short. Avert on the move against Ernie. Avert cuts to the right side, and it was Washington with 11:31 to go in the first half. 26-25 Boston. Magnificent block here, Keith Erickson.
Let's see if we can pick up Kermit Washington coming behind Bert Avert. Now watch the continuation on the play. Kermit just flattened Bert Avert on that play, and no foul was called.
Then he comes right back in on that missed shot. Avert steps in as the tempo picks up just a bit here in the first quarter. I should say the second quarter.
And Kermit flattened Bert Avert again. No foul again.
Avert slowly comes back. Nader backs in on Cowens and rolls that hook shot. Washington dominating the glass right now. Hondo's hook is off, and it's Cornbread back with it.
Big Swen Nader on the rebound, Brent. You know that Swen is the leading rebounder in the NBA since the All-Star game.
Averaging about 20 a game sometimes. In this last 10 days, he's had a marvelous stretch for him.
That's a lot of muscle on the inside. Dave Cowens and Swen Nader.
Look at Ernie D swatting away.
He doesn't belong in there.
10:26 to go in the first half. Braves up by a point. Ernie D took it back, glided inside, and wanted to go to Maxwell, but there was holding called against McNeil. Mike Glenn checks in for Buffalo. He's a 6'3" guard, a rookie out of Southern Illinois. And he goes right with number 7, Ernie D.
Cotton Fitzsimmons says if you give him a little bit of room, that ball is down. He can really shoot it.
McNeil did not have good control, did he, as he released it? Look at Washington underneath. Knocked away. And so Havlicek puts it outside. They're cheering as though every basket were his last, and who knows?
Brent, John has not shot the ball very well so far in this game, and I think there is so much involved right now.
Foul call on Washington. 9:18 left in the first half, and we'll take another look at that. It's 28-27 Celtics. There's the foul, Washington. And I would imagine on Friday night it'll be Los Angeles, Seattle from the Los Angeles Forum. Seattle will have the home court advantage against the Lakers, so they will open up in Seattle probably on Wednesday night. Then game 2 would be in Los Angeles Friday night, and that's a contest you'll be able to see live on CBS beginning at 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 in the East. John Havlicek gets his first break of this afternoon, and Keith, he appears to be just a little bit tight.
Well, he does appear to be tight, Brent. I think it's a combination of things. You know, it almost, if you didn't know John, you would say that he was nervous. But you can't say that it's like he's being nervous. There's so much going on, so much emotion involved. I'm sure that he hasn't had very much sleep in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
It's interesting what you just mentioned about sleep, because he related to me that last night, for one of the few times in his life, he had to take a sleeping pill.
Oh, the pressure has just had to be building and building. You know, can you imagine how many people have come into town and want to be seeing him for this last game? You know, the days prior to the game. Reporters, every reporter in the country wants to talk to him.
So with Havlicek watching, Tommy Boswell pulls the trigger for the Celtics. And underneath it was Maxwell. 9:02 to go in the first half. We'll have the tribute to John Havlicek live here from Boston at halftime. Dave Bing. Oh, Washington looks good, doesn't he, off that glass here this afternoon? 8:51 to go in the first half. Buffalo leading Boston 29-28. So we will have him coming to the line after the whistle blew on that. And here he is, Keith.
Brent, this is another interesting story this year. You know, talk about an emotional period. Kermit Washington has had a terribly emotional year this year. I saw him in the locker room before the game, and he was sitting there and just, I've never seen a player look more drained at the end of a season than Kermit. He has really gone through it this year.
Putting Boston ahead with those free throws, 30-29. Scott Lloyd, 45. He's 6'10", 230 from Arizona State. He has replaced Swin Nader, and Boswell is with him right now. Boswell picked up underneath. He was trying to push Lloyd back out of the way. And Ed Rush detected that. Here's Glenn. He's 14. Bing goes with him, and Glenn just puts it up outside. Knocked it right to Bing, but there'll be no fast break. Cheney had Randy Smith rubbed off and went to the shot.
Brent, Don Cheney, another one who's been around John Havlicek a long time. Before the game, he said he's really caught up in this day, too. A very emotional day for him. John means an awful lot to him, a good friend, and he said he helped him so much when he was a rookie coming into the league. He's very, very sorry to see John be going out today.
So it goes against Lloyd. And Averett reports back in for the Braves, number 15. He's not bashful.
Bert Averett will put it up anywhere on
Excellent
one step.
Tennis player. Bert Averett will go out there and play anytime you want on that court. Maxwell faking on McNeil. 7:39 to go in the first half. What do you think about the Masters coming up, Keith? Hubie Green hold on?
Well, we'll see. Tremendous golf tournament down in Augusta.
Averett on the drive, and now it's Cheney looking to Bing. Boswell fouled as he came to the glass.
How does Jack Nicklaus stand down there, Brent?
Well, he fell off yesterday, did not have a good outing, and he really came away griping about the conditions, the weather down there. He claims it's the kind of day when anybody can score well, not just the legends.
That's
I guess,
a peculiar
like Jack.
gripe about the weather, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I found it very strange. What's interesting about Jack Nicklaus, though, that you mentioned him, he is a very good friend of John Havlicek's. Both, of course, attended Ohio State. And when he's not playing golf, Havlicek tells me that Nicklaus likes to go over and shoot some hoops, that they've been out going one-on-one a few times against each other. You know, you saw that ice up at John Havlicek's lip. I believe he was cut just a bit underneath. That may be in the reason why he went out, Keith Erickson.
It could be. As you mentioned earlier in the game, Brent, he hurt his hand. And then in one scuffle underneath the basket, I saw him come out holding his mouth. He got cut. He got, caught an elbow in the mouth. He's getting hurt more today than he has in his entire career.
That's something. He's only missed how many games in his entire life, Keith? We've got that stat. I can't believe it.
It really is phenomenal. 33 games in 16 pro seasons.
Here's Marvin Barnes. He missed more than that in his first year. Marvin is a great character. There's going to be all kinds of stories about Marvin Barnes, as there already are. But he possesses a whale of talent if he ever decides to use it from the beginning of a season to the next. He is a player.
Well, it's going to take more than that, Brent. Cotton Fitzsimmons said he's got a
Washington.
Tremendous amount of ability, but he thinks in order for Marvin Barnes to be a top player in this league, he's going to have to go out and work all summer long and really get himself back into the shape he was in coming out of college.
The roar in the background indicates that you-know-who is up and ready to come back with 6:41 to go in the first half. Havlicek will be coming in soon. Barnes staying right with it, but it wouldn't go down for him. Boswell left alone on that right wing. So it is defense that has plagued Buffalo, and the Celtics get a run going. They'll welcome their captain. 1,269 games for John Havlicek. And here he is being welcomed back on the floor of the Boston Garden. That's accounting for 16 points. 6 minutes and 19 seconds to go first half. It's 40-31. Celts ahead. And Kermit Washington and Cornbread Maxwell sparked that rally. Nader is back for Buffalo. They missed his muscle underneath the glass.
Swen Nader and Kermit Washington, two very strong guys going on those boards down there.
Bing, Havlicek, Boswell, Washington, and Maxwell. Havlicek, 6 points.
Brand, he just tied the amount of points he scored in his first NBA game.
What was that, back in the fall of 1962?
That's right, 62.
Against the New York Knicks.
That's exactly right.
Barnes maneuvering for daylight and got it. Randy Smith goes with Havlicek, and Bing takes it up outside. Red Auerbach has been extremely pleased with the way Bing has played since coming to the Celtics from the Washington Bullets earlier this year. He has been one of the few bright spots over here with the franchise this year. They have not qualified for the playoffs. Nader rolls the hook. And again it is Washington, whose rebounds have been significant. Washington screen, 2 in a row for Bingo. That's 8 for Dave.
And you mentioned Dave Bing. Brent, before the game I spoke to him and I said, Dave, what do you think? You have about 5 or 6 left in you? He's 33 years old, and he said, yeah, 5 or 6 games.
Knocked out by Buffalo, and Sidney Wicks and Dave Cowens will both come back in. There is Sidney, number 12. And Cowens. Earlier this year, Wicks was the villain in Boston, but no longer. They don't hold him directly responsible for all of the ills of the Celtics. And very tough for this crew to learn how to play together, as the championship team of a couple of years ago did so well. Look at Boswell's screen. He's got 2 men held off. I think he was trying to put an army away from Havlicek that time. Havlicek on the move. It would have gone. He drew the foul coming around Randy Smith. So we'll have the tribute to Havlicek at halftime.
There's a move we've seen time and time again. John taking the one step. Nice soft touch up there to the hoop. Just fell out.
Total of 7 now for Hondo in the first half. 8. Wonder how many he'll wind up with here today in his final game as a professional. 48-35 and 4 minutes to go in the first half. You should see the loot that he has picked up from his teammates and friends here in the Boston area. I saw an IRS man out there before the game. It took him an entire notebook just to catalog all those gifts, Keith.
Yes, indeed. And we're having words down here. Sidney Wicks and Marvin Barnes are having a few friendly words underneath the basket. And then the booing you heard going on a second ago was when Jess Kersey called a foul on John Havlicek.
Marvin Barnes is such a ham that he knows today is a day to soak up a little TV time.
Is he trying to take some of that camera off of John Havlicek today?
Why not? He is a character. That's 40 consecutive foul shots for Randy. See if he can make it 41. He does. Oh, that's a streak. Washington with 7 rebounds here in the first half. Washington now, of course, watching is Wicks and Boswell. We'll go with the wings alongside Cowens. Dave Bing comes up on Glenn. Off that time. Loose ball foul, and it'll be coming down toward the Buffalo side.
Brent, we'd all like to see John score an awful lot of points on his last game today. I asked Sat Sanders before the game if they were going to do anything differently to try and get John into the flow of the game, have him go out on an up note. And he said it's going to be just like it's always been here. It's the green light for John Havlicek today.
Swin Nader moves to the line as the Celtics win the penalty. 3:40 to go. It is 48-37. Celtics leading the Braves. And there's Billy Knight, the injured star of Buffalo. Underwent knee surgery. Very optimistic about next season. Havlicek battling, and it's Boswell who retrieves. They go to Wicks underneath. Whistle, and it counts. Chance for the three-point. McNeil unhappy. Last night, there was a moment of quiet in the Boston Garden. Havlicek was out on the floor, and somebody up on the balcony stood up and said, John, don't leave us, John. You're still the best player we got out there on the floor. And you know, Cotton Fitzsimmons said before the game, he said, Brent, if Havlicek calls me in the offseason and says he'd like to come back, we'll take him for a few years.
I'll tell you, Cotton Fitzsimmons is not the only coach that would have those same sentiments.
That's his son, Chris. He's one of the ball boys, 7 years old. Havlicek and Beth have 2 children. Their daughter Jill is 4. And there was just a little tear in Chris's eye at the pregame ceremonies, and I imagine there'll be a few more tears as this afternoon unfolds here in the Boston Garden. A halftime tribute, that'll be live. Havlicek jumped out and fouled Randy Smith, and the crowd says no fouls on Havlicek today. It's impossible.
Let's watch John again. Now, Brent, this is one of the few areas that you can see that John has slowed down just a little bit. He would have had that ball a couple of years ago and been going in for a layup.
I allow you one negative note and no more today.
Well, I'm sorry.
I've been asking if he ever got a parking ticket or anything. Did he ever do anything bad in his life? But I can't find anything. It's just an unbelievable career. I go way back in sports, and I try to think, well, maybe Stan the Man Musial was revered by fans as much as John Hondo Havlicek.
Should I tell you that story about Hawaii later on?
All right. 3 minutes first half. It was off Buffalo's hand, so it's not over and back. It's an 11-point Celtic lead. Havlicek went for the long one. Marvin Barnes dueling for control. He just sort of tossed it up, didn't he? Here's Boswell. Bing's on that other side. He waits for Wicks. Now it's Havlicek, and there again was Marvin Barnes. Timeout has been called by Sat Sanders, and Kermit Washington will be checking back into this game. 2:35 to go in the first half, and the tributes continue to pour in for number 17. We are back in the Boston Garden. So far in the first half, John Havlicek has scored 8 points. He is still on the floor. He was out briefly in the second quarter. 2 minutes and 35 minutes left until halftime. Jimmy the Greek will be along at halftime, along with an update on the Masters. Sidney Wicks outside, up over Barnes with that shot. And a 13-point bulge here by the Celts. Buffalo's problem, defensive. In the second quarter, you see Detroit up by 6 over Denver, despite those 32 points in the first quarter by David Thompson. Goaltending, and Washington said, I got it on its upward flight.
Let's see if we can pick it up here and see if it was on its upward flight. There's the lob pass into Swennater. Here's Kermit getting ready. And it looks like Kermit was right on that play.
Wicks inside. He goes outside, misses inside, and Nader looks strong. Off now to Smith. Smith slowed by that injured leg. That pull-up jump shot. Can't glide to the hole as he so frequently does. Here's Havlicek coming in on Randy, and then he goes out the other end to Wicks. Running left-handed hook. So each of the last 3 times down the floor, it has been Wicks squeezing the trigger, and he's been successful twice. Nader. He's one of those players, Keith, who's improved a lot since leaving college.
Well, Swen Nader didn't have much experience before he got to college, Brent. I think he only had 1 year in high school, 1 year in junior college. Of course, he had a lot of practice at UCLA going against Bill Walton every single day.
Out of bounds. Wicks was hit there above the left eye. How is Bill Walton, Keith? What do you hear about the possibility of his returning to Portland for the playoffs?
Well, what I understand, Brent, is that it's a day-by-day situation. It really depends on how Bill feels. He's having problems with his arch or arches in his feet. Evidently has high arches and just giving him a lot of pain. They're trying to put some supports in there for him, and it's just up to Bill, however he feels.
Don't forget the playoff coverage on CBS begins next Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we'll have a doubleheader a week from today. Texas 200 next Saturday, and of course immediately after this game, matching Cotton Fitzsimmons Braves against the Boston Celtics on John Havlicek's last day. We'll take you down for the final round of the Masters as Hubie Green tries to hold on and win his first green jacket. Hubie Green was a student at Florida State, and he more or less has dedicated himself to winning the Masters. And today, he has got a marvelous chance. Grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. The final minute here in the Boston Garden ticks away in the first half, and it's Marvin underneath.
Good strong move by Marvin Barnes underneath. Sidney Wicks gave him good position. Impossible to stop a guy like that when he gets good position underneath.
40 seconds to go in the first half. 56-46. The Celtics and Dave Bing outside. So Dave Bing has come on to score 10 points. Havlicek here in the first half with 8. He's in the backcourt with Bing. Washington, Cowens, and Wicks up front. It's going to be a long day for the Milwaukee Bucks too, Keith Erickson, waiting for that game out west to finish. Seattle and Golden State. If Seattle beats Golden State, then Milwaukee will go to the playoffs. But if it's the other way, then the Warriors are going to go. Havlicek up on the top with just 5 ticks of the clock left. And of course, we are going to be bringing you live the tribute to John Havlicek by the Boston Garden.
Here's Randy Smith's specialty, Brent. Just a couple of seconds to go on the clock. That's that shot he made in the All-Star game to finish it up.
And I have just received word, Keith Erickson, that David Thompson scored 53 points in the first half.
John, on behalf of the entire Boston Celtics organization, both past and present, we are pleased to present you with a 31-foot sports coach camper. And may you enjoy it for a long, long time. Good luck. You've got a lot of class.
A dynasty was started here a few years ago, it went through several eras. This represents the last of the dynasty years, but perhaps a forerunner of more dynasty years to come. But the man who started the dynasty and prolonged it, Red Auerbach.
You know, I was supposed to be kind of a tough character. But those of you that know me know I'm really not. But after 16 years of being John's coach, general manager, going all around the world with him doing clinics, what can I say about John Havlicek in 1 minute? It's impossible. He epitomizes everything there is, not only as an athlete. Most of you people know John as an athlete. I know him as a person as well. John, if I had a son, if he was like John, I'd be the happiest man in the world. But you know, I know, you didn't come here to see me or hear me. This is John's day. Now let's get him and give him everything he deserves. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this day to me will be remembered forever. You know that over the years I've been accustomed to playing a little time on this floor. Well, let me tell you, 48 minutes is really nothing compared to what I have to do now, because this is without a doubt the toughest thing that I've ever tried to do, and I'm going to have to take a lot of deep breaths. Probably the most, or one of the most memorable sports days in my whole career was when I was cut by the Cleveland Browns. Because at that time, it allowed me to become a part of an organization that I've been extremely happy with for 16 years. The type of people that they had here have been tremendous to me. I want to personally thank Red Auerbach for drafting me in 1962, because there were a lot of other people that were looking for other types of individuals. And it was a great pleasure for me to become a part of a team and a dynasty like that. I know that the camper that has presented to me is one of the things that I will truly use and cherish for the rest of my life. But I want you to know that each time I drive it, there will be memories of every one of your faces with me as I drive it. I want to thank Red for wanting this day to be so nice for me. And I want to thank Mr. Levin and Mr. Lipton for running the kind of club that could have and provide a day for me like this. I want to also mention a couple people that have worked very, very hard in regard to this particular day. Jeff Cohen and Mike Cole, who put in endless hours to see it come off the way it has. I'd also like to give special thanks to two people who did not want to be mentioned, but they're great friends of mine, Bill Bates and Ed Clevin, the chairman of my committee for this day. They've worked extremely hard, and it's been very difficult, and they've done it without seeking any personal gain, and I appreciate this very much because it's the highest form of friendship that I know. I want to also extend thanks to you people here for coming to my day and party, because when a party or a day is given to you, it's very important to me that the people come, and for those who've made an effort to come. And I just want to say that if you weren't here, I know that I would wish you here, and many people throughout the country who are viewing this, I appreciate your thoughts, telegrams, sentiments, and everything you've done for me, because it's important to me that you are here. I want to also give special thanks to the many friends and members of the family who've come a long way to be with me on this final day. There's no greater tribute than to have people like this near me, because with the success that I've had, it only enriches it when you have special friends and people like you here. I want to also thank the members of the radio, the television, the press, for allowing me to be a part of your life and for allowing me to come into your home at various times. I truly appreciate that and what you have done for me. Over the years, I've logged many, many miles on this floor, and I probably know each board by name, if you will, because I'm sure that I've hit just about every one of them along the way. For me, there's only 24 minutes left. And it's going to be a journey that will end. It's been a long journey. It's been very happy. And I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it a great deal. I'll take with me a lot of memories and a lot of things that have happened to me here. And I'm going to recall those memories because I cannot turn back the clock. On this final day, at the end of this journey, I'm going to start a new one. And I'm sure that over the course of the next few years, there are going to be many ups and downs, and I'm going to have many, many new experiences. I can only say if the next 16 are half as happy as the last 16, I'm going to be a very happy man. On this particular day, I want to acknowledge the most precious people in my life, my wife Beth, my son Chris, my daughter Jill, my mom, because they are the people that have given me the strength to become and hold up through a situation like this. Over 16 years, as I said, many things have happened to me. I'm still going to leave the game with good health, and this is one of the things that I have to thank God for because of the many blessings that He's bestowed upon me. What more could one ask than to be a part of a city like Boston, a part of so many championship teams, and as I said before, I'm going to remember the flags, the fans, the greetings at the airport, the smiling faces in the parades, and the warm handshakes everywhere I go. It's been a tremendous 16 years for me, and what more could one ask for, because you, the people of Boston, have provided me with a great deal. The thing that I'm probably going to miss the most is something that other players have missed also, because in this particular profession, I want to thank the players of the present and of the past for allowing me to share a part of one room, the locker room, which we all know as home. In closing, I want to thank Commissioner O'Brien, all the individuals that have made the fine gestures in regard to the gifts, the pleasantries, and I really can't, as people say, in many instances, feel as though I'm really going to be leaving, because I know that I'm still going to be around the game of basketball in some way. I hope that the individuals here will support the Celtic teams of the future as much as they have myself and the past, and particularly its players. Because you have given us what every team really wants to have: enthusiasm, dedication, and you've helped us win many championships. What more can I say? Thank you, Boston. I love you.
Second half in the Boston Garden. The Boston Celtics lead the Buffalo Braves 58-46. Well, Keith Erickson, it was a moving halftime tribute, just as we figured it would be. And the thoroughness of John Havlicek surfaces again. That's exactly how he planned out his entire career. That's his first half line: 8 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds.
Brent, I don't think that the value of John Havlicek to this franchise, to the NBA, can be measured in statistics. He's got all of the statistics, all of the records, you know, the records that he's set over the years. They really don't mean anything compared to what a great man he has been. What a great ambassador to the sport of professional basketball. What an idol for all of the fans all over this country, for them to look up to, for the kids to measure themselves by the standards that John Havlicek has set.
Passing the ball into Dave Bing against the Buffalo pressure, so it'll be Havlicek, Bing, Cheney, Washington, and Cowens on the floor right now against Avert, Smith. Havlicek gets his first shot of the second half. That's 21 consecutive games of double figures to finish out his career. Avert, Smith, Barnes, Nader, and McNeil with the ball for Cotton Fitzsimmons. As McNeil came up, he was fouled. Cheney was there.
42!
McNeil hits the free throw for the Braves. The Braves will have to tighten up their defense. So with 11:33, it's 60-47. Celtics with a big lead, but certainly one that is not insurmountable this year. Cheney. Celts have had some problems with the third quarter in the past. We'll see what happens here. Barnes took the dish from Avert. Havlicek right back now for the Celts. Cheney comes out to meet him. Here's Bing's 44, and there's Hondo. They work the weave, and Havlicek comes up again outside. Much more relaxed as a shooter, isn't he, in this half? He was 3 of 13 in the first 24 minutes.
Well, I think he got most of the tough part out of his system now, Brent. He's ready to play ball these last 24 minutes.
Barnes gave it up, but it was right to Smith, his teammate. Hondo on the wing, moving in on Avert, left-handed hook. John came back, loose ball foul call. That's 3 on the captain.
Even though the fans don't agree with it, John knew that he fouled Randy Smith on that play. He just turned around and pranced back down court like he's done so many times. Here's the play again. And watch the left-handed hook and watch John come back on the rebound. Randy Smith gets it. Havlicek in the back of your screen there, knocked him out of there.
Randy Smith's quickness got it from Cheney. Anno McNeil came up and drew the foul, so the chance for the three-point play.
Nice play by Buffalo, moving that ball inside. That's what they need to do. They had a steal, move that ball around. Boston had quite an interesting statistic in the first half, Brent. 1 turnover in the second quarter.
We'll be going down to Augusta for that final round. Conclusion of our tribute to John Havlicek here in the Boston Garden. Tonight, the big game out west, Seattle and Golden State. And all Milwaukee can do is sit and hope that Seattle can win at home. Cowens. And our playoff coverage will start next Friday night on CBS. That's an 11:30 p.m. Eastern start. We'll be in the Los Angeles Forum. Here's McNeil from the right baseline. Cowens off, and he's got Bing on the lead. It should be easy for Bingo.
Brent, that play would never have been as easy as it was if Randy Smith were in good condition. Dave Bing had about a 2-step lead on him, and Randy Smith would have run him down on that play, I'll guarantee you.
It's a 12-point difference right now with 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go, third quarter. Barnes. And Barnes hustled back for his own miss. Missed the second shot, and strong Kermit Washington out. Bing wasn't looking, and back comes Averett now for Buffalo. To the offhand, and there's Swin Nader. Chance for the three-pointer.
Kermit Washington came running out of the pile underneath the basket. He said, oh, push off. He's looking at Swin Nader now.
Frankie Chalant has just sent word over, Keith, that Sidney Wicks is out for the game. He suffered a contusion to that eye when he was hit early in the game. There was that 20-second injury timeout, and Sidney left. I had no idea it was that serious. Down to 9 with 9:21 to go here in the third. Smith trying to keep Havlicek far outside. Bing over at the baseline, and Cowens put a move on Nader and came around him. And again, it's Barnes and Washington. Muscle on muscle underneath, Keith.
I like that matchup down there, Brent. Dave Cowens uses his body extremely well in these games. I like to see him go up against a guy that's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. And, you know, Dave doesn't back down. He just keeps doing it the same way.
We were talking about Swin Nader, and I got an exact count since the All-Star break. He's had an average of 16.1 rebounds per game. Now, the last time they played Boston, Nader pulled down 22 rebounds and scored 24 points. He's number 31, the man in the middle for Cotton Fitzsimmons right now. It's again a 10-point Boston lead. Swin went to Barnes, off to McNeil. Pass was not perfect, and McNeil could not come a firing, and there was a 3-second violation. Well, you should have John Moore around the house now.
I'm looking forward to that a lot, and to doing some.
Kermit Washington burns him at the other end. He got open underneath. They hit him with a pass.
John hit him with a pass, by the way. Beth, I'd be interested to know what you think of John's emotions today. Did you think that he was going to show as much emotion? I mean, I know he was trying not to.
As of this morning, I knew that he'd be very emotional. I didn't know exactly how far he would go, but I think the fact how we reacted controlled his emotions a lot.
Yeah, he mentioned that you've helped him so much. It was great to see. This tribute is really tremendous. I'm really happy to be a part of it here.
Thank you. It's more than we ever anticipated, really. It's been wonderful.
Beth, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bird Averett is at the free throw line for Buffalo. On this, the last day of John Havlicek's career with the Boston Celtics. 7:31 to go in the third quarter. 69-56. The Celtics are up right now. Havlicek has racked up 7 assists so far in this game. That last one is most spectacular, Keith.
That showed the rest of his athletic skills. Brent, a beautiful baseball pass down to Kermit Washington.
Washington on the move. And Kermit Washington is serving notice that he'd like to be back and help this Celtic team without Havlicek next year, as Ernie DiGregorio checks in, and John Havlicek gets his second break, sitting down next to Coach Satch Sanders.
Kermit playing with a lot of emotion out there today, Brent. He is, like we said before, emotionally drained.
Interesting to see who assumes the mantle of leadership here in Boston next year. Will it be Dave Cowens? Nader up. And McNeil with Washington contesting him. Washington is in better physical condition than when we saw them a few weeks ago, too, Keith. This play has helped him tremendously.
Yes, he has. He's definitely in just good playing condition now, Brent. He's getting his wind back. He's definitely got his strength. He is one heck of a player.
We've got a turnover against Buffalo. Randy Smith changing hands, and he's over there protesting. They're going to have a timeout, too. But Randy Smith on the right continued to argue, so a technical foul was called. Dave Cowens stepped to the free throw line, and it fell. 75-59, Celtics have possession. Cowens, short, McNeil to Avert. Glenn is in, McNeil on the lead for Buffalo with 6:30 to go here in the third quarter. The final round of the Masters. We sent your way by CBS at the conclusion of this tribute to John Havlicek. Cowens missed one underneath. Buffalo with a chance to run off 2 in a row. Glenn. 75-63. A 12-point difference. John Havlicek watching on the Celtic bench. Dave Bing cuts the corner smartly. Lobs for Marvin. Washington waited before he came over, and the whole building shook when they collided.
He also jumped up, Brent, and blocked that ball through the bottom of the basket, which is goaltending.
Nader is 31. Maxwell back to help out. Nader goes to that left-handed hook, and Washington, and Cotton says, doesn't he ever push anybody out of the way when he rebounds like that? Here's Bing. Down low. Look at Washington. He's possessed. Drew the foul. They came to cheer for John Havlicek, but they have reserved a couple of mini ovations for Kermit Washington.
I tell you, Brent, this is what you call a very aggressive rebound right there by Kermit Washington. Fantastic hustle play. You can never knock Kermit Washington for not hustling, and he's one of those guys that gives 115% every single night.
Puts the Celts at 80. 63 for Buffalo, and 5:29 to go in the third. McNeil, Nader, Glenn, Avert, and Barnes on the floor for Fitzsimmons. Loose ball foul. Nader and Cowens tangling on the other side. And against David.
We're just doing a little polka down there, Brent. Little elbows intertwined.
Cowens getting a break. Look how Fitzsimmons dressed for John Havlicek's day.
Let's watch underneath on the side. Oh, look at Cowens grab Swen Nader in there.
Who,
around
me?
the neck and pulled him out.
How'd you happen to see that?
I think that Cowens knew he was coming out of the game on that play. I don't think he'd want to mess around with Swen Nader.
I don't know, that'd be a heck of a tussle. I wouldn't want to mess with either of them. I've seen that redhead get pretty angry.
Seen the muscles on Swen Nader?
5:15. Your UCLA guys are always hanging together. Boswell was back, and there's a technical called on Dave Cowens. He got rushed just where he wanted him, right in front of that chair. And he started to work him over. And Rush said, that's enough, David. And John Havlicek calmly watches. You know, Hondo, he once had a year back in 67, 68 when he picked up 4 technicals. But back in that day, they only charged him $25 a technical, so he paid $100. A total of $925. So that gift by Commissioner Lawrence O'Brien to the Special Olympics in Havlicek's name, they would never do that for a player like Norm Van Leer. It would bust the treasury of the NBA. Cornbread Maxwell now for the Celtics goes to bingo.
Well, it's a nice gesture, though, isn't it, Brent?
It certainly is.
We saw Cotton Fitzsimmons on the screen a minute ago, Brent, with that wild suit he's got on. You think he knew he was going to be on TV today?
Certainly. He just dressed up for John's day. I said, Cotton, may I apologize before the game? We're going to have to ignore your team a little bit today. And he said, thank God. And the word now from Frankie Chalant, as you look at Cotton kneeling down, that dapper suit, dressed for the ball. The word is that Sidney Wicks went to a hospital. We hope that's not serious. There's eye problems. There's the trainer of the Celtics. And alongside him is Dr. Thomas Silva, Celtics team physician. Boy, what a marvelous athlete he's had in John Havlicek. Nader going into Barnes, double teamed underneath, and he traveled, and Fitzsimmons is saying, hold on now. He says Havlicek's not even out there. You don't have to give him everything at this moment. Look at Cotton down there. He's saying, Jess, how can you call that? or something like that.
No, it wasn't that bad. He wasn't mad.
4:40 in the third. It's 82-66. And look at Washington holding on for third in the Eastern Conference. Kermit taking it. Foul called as he swung free of Marvin, and now it's Marvin's turn for a little theatrics. Marvin's saying, I can't take it anymore. Get me out of here. How can I put up with this, Cotton? I mean, I just move, and he blows that whistle underneath. And Cotton says, relax, relax. Hang in there, Marvin. He's bending Bing's ear a little bit. They still tell that story about Marvin being late when he was in the ABA, so he went and rented his own airplane. Showed up just before practice, walked in, took off his coat, and said, Marvin's ready to go. Averett pops one on Ernie D. Bing went inside, and of course he couldn't get back to it. It goes to Buffalo. He was hoping that a teammate would come over, and then he just kind of slapped it and said maybe the refs won't notice who's over there.
The referee's doing a good job. Ed Rush right on top of the play.
Cott Fitzsimmons would disagree with you, my man.
Well, a good game on that last call.
Glenn outside. The rookie with a miss, and Maxwell backing McNeil up for that board. Ernie D with that quick pass to Bing. There's Swin Nader, and Boswell picked him clean, and Maxwell makes him pay. Fitzsimmons wants time. He is up.
He's having a good time over there today, Brent.
And he's telling Jess that's the signal for holding. Now he'll reach over to Ed Rush, and he's got him. Gives him the hold sign. There will be. While you were away, Randy Smith did it again. A second technical foul. So they've asked him to leave. Ernie D. Gregorio hit the technical free throw. Cott Fitzsimmons arguing with Rush. Jess Kersey will put the ball out on the side. Randy Smith reluctantly leaving the floor of the Boston Garden. Now for that fine, it's $225.
Picking up his second technical, Brent. He's just paid $225 compared to John Havlicek's $925 for his whole career.
3:34 in the third quarter. The Bird. So Randy Smith finishes up the season with 43 consecutive free throws, and that is just 4 short of the team record for a single season set by Ernie D., who hit the technical at the other end. Hondo is back. Maxwell and Barnes were coming up underneath, and Barnes knows. He takes it off for the last time this season. Randy Smith tossed out. Marvin Barnes fouled out. And all the ghosts of the Boston Garden starting to gang up for the final quarter of John Havlicek's career. 86-70. The Celtics lead the Braves. Barnes leaves with 10 points and 6 rebounds. And Will Jones, 24, will replace him. Caldwell Jones of Philadelphia is his brother.
That's right. Caldwell, 7 feet tall. Will Jones didn't quite make it.
No, Will is 6'8", and he'll go about 205 for you. There he is, 24. He's got the ball out of bounds. It's an 18-point difference. Havlicek right now is going with Glenn. And Averett has decided to put on a little show himself, and here's Glenn right back. Ernie D. coming up on Glenn. So right now we've got 2:45 to go as Havlicek misses. Celtics have been impressive underneath the glass, but again, you have to consider that they are playing Buffalo here this afternoon. They had a bad third quarter against Milwaukee. Nader rams it home, or perhaps I should word that another way. The Bucks under Don Nelson and John Killalay turned in a fabulous 8-minute stretch last night here in the Boston Garden. They were all over the place, and let me tell you right now that Marcus Johnson, as Maxwell is fouled by McNeil, let me tell you that Marcus Johnson is going to be a player for a long, long time in this league. He is nothing short of fabulous, and I can't remember a year when we've had more impressive rookies check in. Walter Davis, Phoenix; Marcus Johnson, Milwaukee; Bernard King, the Nets; Otis Birdsong, Kansas City, and you can go on. I've just listed some of the stars. There's also Norm Nixon, Los Angeles. 92, 74, and 210, and our playoff coverage will begin next Friday night. You know, Keith, I would pay to see playoff games in the NBA. And that's a lot for a broadcaster who freeloads the way I do.
Does that mean you wouldn't pay during the regular season, Brent?
I won't say that. They wanted Hondo underneath. Goes out of bounds. And Havlicek says, wait a minute, but it's not going his way. He'll come up on defense. Avert glides.
Nice move by Bird Avert underneath. He's got tremendous quickness, and he's got great range in his jump shot.
Havlicek off the side. He's got to hit at least one more runner before he hangs it up. Will you ever forget that Friday night against Phoenix? As McNeil comes out on the move against Ernie D, who cut him off. Foul called on Ernie D, who positioned himself very well, didn't he?
I feel that was a makeup call, Brent. I think the referees missed the play back here at the other end. Cotton Fitzsimmons jumped up in the middle of that play. As you saw down here, Ernie signaling with his hands. I was nowhere near the guy.
Satch Sanders protesting. And next Sunday, don't forget that prior to our NBA doubleheader, we'll have 3-on-3. We'll have a celebrity, an NBA player, and a retired player. Oh, Dave DeBuscher's involved in that. Julius Erving, David Steinberg, Pat Boone. They'll all be along. 3-on-3. And that name tells you a lot. Half court, 3-on-3, the old schoolyard game. And I understand that there were some good competitions in that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I'm also looking very forward to seeing our Masters coverage at the conclusion of this tribute to John Havlicek. That'll be coming your way in about 40 minutes. We're due at 4 o'clock to be down there for that final round at Augusta. Havlicek glides in. Now it's Glenn on the wing. Final minute of the third quarter. Jones, 6'8" in range. Huh, Keith Erickson? Where has he been this afternoon?
He's been resting.
Saving it for the stretch drive right now, right? Havlicek inside to Kermit. Foul called, and I'll tell you, Washington's a load, isn't he? Marvin Barnes sitting on the bench with 6 fouls. Jones now underneath trying to check Kermit. That's 12 rebounds. Washington is 6'8", 230 at least. That's what they list him. Played college basketball at American.
What do you think his favorite pastime is, Brent, besides basketball?
I'm not sure. What is it?
He loves to lift weights, and you can tell by looking at him. He is one strong young man.
15 points and 12 rebounds for Kermit Washington. Avert. Neal was going up. Last 27 seconds of the quarter in the right-hand corner of your screen. Havlicek now is checking Glenn, and Glenn's not moving much. And Havlicek learned at a very young age that what you got to do is move at that offensive end, because those are the toughest people to deal with at the offensive side of the floor, are the players who move without the basketball. Jones is off. McNeil gets it away from Maxwell and comes back inside. as the seconds tick out on the third quarter. It's 94-82. It's a 12-point difference. And so, for number 17, John Havlicek, we've come to the last quarter. 94-82, the score in Boston. And it looks as though John Havlicek may be able to close out his career on a winning note. It has been a tough month for the Celtics. Because of all the snow and cold earlier this year, they have been playing numerous makeup games, as they did last night against Milwaukee. They're in the fourth quarter. Detroit leading Denver despite that fabulous performance by David Thompson. 73 points for David Thompson. That's right, 7-3. Willoughby and Boswell colliding. The youngster pushed away. Now that must rank right up there with the top 5 performance scoring. I'm trying to quickly tick them off in my head. Of course, there was Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point explosion. Didn't Elgin Baylor hit about 76 one afternoon?
Elgin is in the 70s somewhere.
Avert.
I know John's highest game was 54 coming in a playoff game.
Here's Avert coming inside on Bing, and you can watch how he kind of delayed in the air and then followed through with that left hand. Get that defensive man just a touch off balance when he did that. Then hit the free throw, 94-85, and it got away from Havlicek, and Avert is there on the turnover. Avert coming back down inside, up over John and Cowens. Off to Maxwell. Here's Havlicek, and it was knocked away from behind. Avert got a hand and swatted the ball out of bounds. It'll go to the Celts. They set a stack. Bing is the deep man. It'll be Havlicek on that screen. Nader off quickly to Glenn. If you miss off of that play, there's no one on the other side if that's the way the ball bounces. But generally they count on someone hitting it. Here is Avert rolling in. Boswell off. Minutes left after 16 years for John Havlicek. It's 96-85. The Celts lead the Braves. Young Bill Willoughby of Buffalo puts one up outside. Here's Bing. Inside, knocked away. Run down by Jones. Comes around Nader and goes to the basket. The alley was open.
Brent, this is the problem the Celtics have been having these last couple of months of the season. They build a nice lead up, and then they squander that lead, get very careless like they just did there. They're not out of this game yet.
Buffalo with a little spurt. The tempo has increased. Marvin Barnes is fouled out. Randy Smith been tossed out. Jones misses the hook. Cowens off to Bing. 96-87 Celtics. Boswell underneath. Not Avert. And Boswell slips in behind him. Maxwell's off to Boswell. It goes back to Cornbread, and Avert there with the hand. His quickness.
That looked like it was a pretty good block to me. Little tiny Bert Avert blocked great big Cornbread Maxwell's layup on that.
We've got timeout, and when I come back, I've got an announcement to make about John Havlicek. Back with that in a moment. John Havlicek will be joining CBS Sports at the conclusion of this game. He signed a contract to work on NBA playoff games, and then he'll be one of our expert analysts next year. And we're all looking forward to working with John Havlicek. Our playoff coverage on CBS begins next Friday night from the Los Angeles Forum. Actually, the Forum is in Inglewood, and those folks out there in Inglewood, Keith Erickson, get a touch upset with me when I keep saying Los Angeles Forum. And Jack Kent Cooke would always prefer Fabulous Forum.
They're a little sensitive about that out there.
Maxwell hits the free throw. So a reminder, you're not going to miss a thing from the Masters tournament. And straight up on the hour, we're going to be going down to Augusta to see if Hubie Green can hold on down there, win that green jacket. That's in about 14 minutes. We'll be cutting away for complete coverage of the Masters. 9:15 left here in the Boston Garden. A tribute to John Havlicek draws to a close. Avert. And Kermit Washington will be checking back in. He has been a strong man here today. Foul call outside as Washington comes in. Keith Erickson, what was the anecdote about you and John Havlicek in Hawaii that I don't know about?
Well, you were trying to think of something negative that John Havlicek did. We were over there on a Players Association trip 1 year or 10 years ago, and there were a whole group of us that went out to dinner and out afterwards dancing and fooling around a little bit with our wives and everything. We came back to the hotel right on the beach, and we hijacked one of the little canoes there, and there were about 6 people in the canoe. And when we brought it back into land, we didn't go very far. There were so many people in it. When we brought it into land, the guards were there at the hotel, took us into custody in the hotel and everything. Now, that's a negative story about John Havlicek, but it was my idea to take the boat out, okay?
He once stole a canoe, but he told his father, yes, I did steal the canoe.
That's about as bad as we can come up with.
Oh, he is fabulous, isn't he? John Havlicek, number 17, there on defense. Willoughby outside on Maxwell. 8:30 to go in this ball game, and the Masters coming up soon on CBS. The final round. Lloyd knocked it away. The Braves have been hustling the last 10 minutes, haven't they? Havlicek is off to Bing. It's 3-on-1. Celts all over the place. Behind Washington's back, and it was hustling Glenn who picked it off. It's a 7-point difference. Havlicek back to 9. That's 14 for John Havlicek. 7 assists and 4 rebounds.
I'd like to have a penny, Brent, for every time he's done that here in this Boston Garden.
Here's Lloyd. Bing takes it down. Havlicek on the left wing. Bing is on the right, and Hondo pops out that side and comes up firing. 16 for the captain. And he ran it off to 102.91. 7 minutes and 20 seconds for a career. Jack Nicklaus probably asking his caddy down there, how's my friend Hondo doing? Averett with the buzzer about to go off. There is Havlicek moving without the basketball, and you can see exactly what he does. Coming around Bing, who got the screen. What he does so well. Oh, we've got a timeout in the Boston Garden. 102.91, and the Masters is next. Boston with the ball and a 102.91 lead. As we tick off the final seconds of this tribute to John Havlicek, we're going to be taking you down to Augusta for final round coverage of the Masters. But what a day this has been. As a matter of fact, what a weekend this has been here in Boston. The whole tribute to John Havlicek, seeing all of his former friends and teammates back, coaches, Fred Taylor at Ohio State. And I imagine on this day, Keith Erickson, we would have to give the MVP award to John Havlicek. Would you agree with that?
I'd say you've got my vote.
We make that unanimous.
I'd say you've got the vote of everybody in this building today, Ben. Probably everybody that's watching.
6:35, 104.91. The Bird. And here he comes, our MVP. Couldn't get it down, but over there in the corner was Cowens. So our Chevrolet Most Valuable Player Award is going to go to John Havlicek. We don't need to tell you all the reasons why. There are 16 years of reasons why we're going to go with Hondo Havlicek today. And so the Chevrolet $1,000 scholarship is going to be awarded to John Havlicek's Ohio State.
There's a pass back from Dave Bing underneath John Havlicek in that familiar way, taking it to the basket, being fouled for 2 free throws.
John Havlicek was born April 8, 1940, Martins Ferry, Ohio. Played high school basketball at Bridgeport, Ohio, then went to Ohio State in 1962. 6'5", 205 pounds. He lives in Weston, Massachusetts and Columbus, Ohio. And this is the end of a reign. Matter of fact, it's the end of a sports era for all of us, isn't it?
And back in the game here, Brent, Dave Cowens and Swen Nader are really going at it inside. Cowens is really mad.
Bing bumping into the Bird. It's 108-93. Has enjoyed an 18-point afternoon here in the Boston Garden. 5:30 to go as the ball was tipped back out of bounds. And on that turnover, which is number 20 for the Celtics, it will go to the Braves. Nader. And in 5 minutes, we're going to be going down to Augusta for the final round coverage of the Fame Masters as we come to an end of this tribute to John Havlicek. Dave Bing hitting the jump shot, 110-97. They're going to end it on a high note in the Boston Garden. Nader.
Swen Nader having a heck of a game here today, Brent. Taking that hook shot inside, right and left-handed. Last play down, he shot about a 28-foot jump shot from the outside.
Cowens. .441. They go back to Nader. Jones popping the ball at him as he came down the baseline. In the penalty. There's Jerry Lucas sitting just underneath that basket looking out at John Havlicek. Lucas, of course, was the media star of that Ohio State team that Fred Taylor put together. There's Jerry and his lovely wife. .112-101. And the last 4:30 was Cowens. Swen Nader has scored 28 points. And he pulled down 12 rebounds, and Cowens prevented him from 13 that time. Willoughby's shot blocked. Jones. 114-103. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Bing. 24 points for Bingo. Nader rolls the hook on Cowan. Havlicek gliding in. A magnificent move by Hondo. 20 points for John Havlicek. 3 minutes and they're on their feet. Havlicek again. Battling for that loose ball. Just as he came into this league 16 years ago out of Ohio State, John Havlicek has never quit diving after loose balls.
Truly incredible, Brent. Playing just as hard right now with 2:44 left to go in his entire career.
Satch Sanders is up. They're yelling at Havlicek now. And Satch wants to get him out. Havlicek and Sanders are communicating. And I would think that pretty soon we're going to have Havlicek leave the floor. I'm at Washington, and so our thanks to Director Sandy Grossman and our producer Chuck Milton as we wind up this tribute to John Havlicek. Scored 20 points today, and it was marvelous to be a part of it. Timeout is called, and John Havlicek goes over and sits down on the Celtic bench.
It's hard to believe, Brent. This man right here is 38 years old.
Celebrated that birthday last night. They presented him with a 500-pound cake here in the Boston Garden. We are back in the Boston Garden. John Havlicek's home arena for all 16 years. And we have just about concluded our tribute to John Havlicek here this afternoon. We're going to be bringing you complete coverage of the final round of the Masters Golf Tournament. These were some of the scenes that you can take with you from today. Red Auerbach, his coach, when John Havlicek came out of Ohio State, embracing each other. Red Auerbach said he never had a ball player quite like John Havlicek. And it's unlikely that there will ever be another one again. Fred Taylor said they threw away the mold when they made a John Havlicek. And so, in order to bring you complete coverage of the Masters tournament, we're going to be going to Augusta after this word from your local station. We'll bring you the final score of the Boston Buffalo game during the Masters. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.